have reached Red Steele's Toy Collector Review. I'm your man, Red Steele, and today I'll be reviewing from Transformers Legacy Evolution, Devcon. Transformers Legacy Evolution Devcon. But before I get to the actual review, I just want to go over some of the spectacular details on this packaging. Up front here, I want to show you what the figure and all its accessories inside. In the top corner here, you have the 8+, which is an age requirement for this figure. In the other corner, you have the Takara Tomy Transformers Centers logo. On the side, it says Transformers Million, this beautiful illustration of Devcon in his Cybertronian aircraft mode. Then over here it says Autobot Devcon. Middle here you have Transformers Legacy Evolution logo. In the corner you have the Hasbro emblem. And on the very bottom here it says it is a deluxe class figure. And on the side of the packaging here, you have these fantastic illustrations of Devcon, both in his robot mode. And on the other side of the packaging here is this beautiful montage of all the Transformers in Transformers Legacy Evolution, starting with Optimus Prime, Breakdown. Below that you have Leo Prime. Middle you have Needle Nose. Then over here you have Crosscut. Then on the very bottom you have the Dinobots and the Junkion. Then over here you have the Transformers Authentic logo. And on the very bottom you have the Transformers Legacy Evolution logo. Then on the back of the packaging here, you have all the figures features. In the top corner here you have Transformers More Than Meets the Eye. Then over here it says Autobot Devcon. In the middle you have all the figures features such as Devcon in his robot mode, Devcon in his Cybertronian aircraft mode. And over here it says it takes 13 steps to transform him. Then over here him using his Evil Fusion. And on the side here you have the Hasbro emblem. Transformers Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Autobot Devcon. Devcon was released March 2023 with the suggested retail price of $24.99 and it was available at all major retailers. Devcon was released along with the other Transformers Legacy Evolution Deluxe Class Wave 3 figures, Axle Grease, Beachcomber, and Predacon Tarantulas. Devcon is a Generation 1 inspired figure that converts to a Cybertronian aircraft mode in 13 steps. His accessories include his blaster, 2 thrusters, and instructions. Devcon stands 5.5 inches tall and he is meant for fans ages 8 and up. I'm gonna go ahead and convert Devcon from his robot mode all the way to his Cybertronian aircraft mode. The first thing you always want to do before you transform any of your Transformers, you want to remove all their weapons and accessories. I want to take Devcon's blaster, put that off to the side. The first step of the transformation, I want to turn Devcon all the way around. You have these foam covers right there and right there. On top of these foam covers, you have a hinge nut right there and right there. I want to take these foam covers, I'm going to flip them all the way up just like that. Do that to the other side of that foam cover and flip it all the way up just like that. Just step number 2. Inside that foam cover, you have this piece right here with a fist, a hinge joint, and a thruster. When you get that fist now, you want to flip it in just like that. And you want to bring the thruster out just like that. Do that to the other side of that fist, flip it in, and bring that thruster out just like that. So step number 3. With that foam cover now, you want to bring it back down and tap it right back into place just like that. Do that to the other side of that foam cover. You want to go and close it up just like that. Step number 4, you have this backpack piece right here. On top of this backpack piece, you have a hinge joint. You want to take that backpack piece, you want to untap it and bring it all the way up just like that. So step number 5, you want to turn Devcon all the way around. You have his arms right there and right there, and you have a hinge joint right there and right there. You want to bring his arm out just like that. And just like that, you kind of give him a little bit of a T-pose. So step number 6, you have Devcon's legs right there and right there. And outside these legs, you have a hinge joint right there and right there. You want to take that leg now, you want to open it up just like that. Go and do it here, like that leg, and open it up just like that. So step number 7, you have Devcon's feet right there and right there. You have a hinge joint right there and right there. You want to take that foot, you want to flip it down just like that. Do that here, like that foot, you want to flip it down just like that. So step number 8, you have a hinge joint right there and right there. You get the leg piece that's kind of hollowed out right there and right there. You want to take the leg piece, you want to swing it up. You want to collapse it right over the thigh just like that. Do that to the other side. Bring that leg piece up over the thigh, just like that. So step number 9, in between the leg pieces, you have a couple tabs right there and a couple portholes right there. You want to line everything together and tab them right into place, just like that. So step number 10, you want to turn Devcon all the way around. With these leg pieces now, you have that hinge nut right there and right there. You want to close these leg pieces up, but you got a tab right there and you got a porthole right there. On the foot you have a tab, and on the back right here you have a porthole. So when you close everything up, just like that, you just want to make sure the foot tabs right in the back, just like that. Do that to the other side, take that leg panel, close it up, tab it into place, take that foot, and tab that right into place, just like that. So step number 11, we'll turn him around again. You have his arms right there, again with that hinge nut right there and right there. On the inside here you have a tab, you got a porthole. You want to bring the arm down and you want to twist it so it tabs right into place, just like that. Do that to the other side, bring the arm piece down, turn it in, and tab it into place, just like that. So step number 12, you have this front piece right here. You have that hinge nut right there, a couple tabs right there, a couple portholes right there. We're going to bring this piece over and tab it right into place, just like that. This is the 13th and final step. In this panel right here, you have a hinge nut right there, you have a tab right there and right there, you have a porthole right there and right there. We're going to bring this panel all the way down, tab it right into place, and now you have Devcon in his full Cybertronian aircraft mode. Now that I have Devcon in his Cybertronian aircraft mode and on my display table, I just want to go over some of his play features and accessories. First, I talk about his blaster. And according to the instructors, we had to arm Devcon with this blaster while he's in his vehicle mode. You do that because on the bottom of the blaster here, you have a 5mm peg. You flip over Devcon, within his nose cone, you have a 5mm porthole. Take that blaster and plug it right into his nose cone, just like that. And now you have Devcon armed with his blaster while he's in his vehicle mode. The next accessory I'm bringing are his thrusters. And Devcon includes 2 of these thrusters. And also, according to the instructions, you can put these thrusters on Devcon while he's in his vehicle mode. And on the bottom of the thruster here, you have a 5mm peg. On the back of his vehicle mode, you have 2 5mm portholes. You want to see the thruster facing back and the peg facing in. You want to plug it right into the back of the vehicle mode, just like that. Do that to the side, the thruster facing back and the peg facing in. Plug that right into the back, just like that. And now you have Devcon armed with both his blaster and his thrusters while he's in his Cybertronian aircraft mode. Very cool. And believe it or not, he's very faithful to the animated model from the Generation cartoon series. And a lot of you are wondering, you don't recall Devcon. Well, Devcon did not have a toy, and he wasn't heavily featured in the Generation cartoon series because he did not have a toy. But he was featured in a one-off episode for the Season 2 Generation 1 cartoon series called The Gambler. And the story behind the episode was the Autobots were venturing back to Earth when their ship was intercepted. They were kidnapped by a pirate called Bosch, and Bosch took them to this gambling planet where he was sold off to a mob boss who was going to use the Autobots for a gladiatorial fight. And what happened was Devcon happened to follow some Decepticons that were going to this mob boss to collect on their share. And Devcon wasn't really heavily featured in this episode either. He remained mostly in Autobot form, but at the end of the episode he did transform. He was a very cool character. And it was very unique because he did not have a toy, so us kids were wondering, well, maybe later on, maybe they would have released the toy in like the Wave 3 or the Series 3 Transformers. They did not. And a wild coincidence was Transformers the movie came out, and he had a character that I felt looked just like Devcon, and I almost mistaken him for Devcon, and that was Blur. Well, the weird coincidence is Devcon's a heavy retooling of the Blur figure from Studio Series. And they're retooling to anytime they take a figure and they re-engineer or remold parts to it. They did that with this figure. I don't see any Blur in this figure at all. To me, it's Devcon, and I was very surprised when I did research on this figure to find out that he was a retooling of Blur. But he's beautifully done, and he has a Cybertronian alt mode. Now, alt mode's anything that's not the robot mode, such as a vehicle mode, an animal mode, in this case, a Cybertronian aircraft mode. Very, very nicely done. Lots of great mode detail here. Lots of great paint deco detail too. Very nicely done. I love the fact that they use that silver metallic paint where you shine to certain angles of the light. You have that dull metallic luster. Very nicely done figure. And this figure even has more story behind it because he's a reissue and he's available at Target right now. And I don't know if he's exclusive to Target right now, but Target just brought out some cases of this figure because Transformers Legacy Evolution had a lot of distribution issues back when it was out, and I don't know why, because Legacy was a post-COVID thing, and the first year of Legacy there was really no issue with any of the figures that came out. It was Evolution had a lot of bumps, and a lot of figures weren't released, and Devcon's wave 3 never hit brick and mortar stores like Target, Walmart, Myers, Kmart, whatever retailers were around back then. But recently Target reissued this figure, and I think what's going on now is I think Takara and Hasbro are kind of tired of not benefiting from the limited number of figures, because scalpers were the ones that benefit from it, because they'd go out and they'd maybe purge the shelves of all the figures that they know are going to be short packaged. Then they're going to put them back in the aftermarket in overinflated prices, and the toy companies do not benefit from that. I think Takara and Hasbro realize that, so they're re-releasing a lot of figures that were short packaged, and Devcon was one of those figures where a lot of fans love this figure. This is some fan service, because this figure was never produced in the original Generation 1 toy line. So when this figure was produced, a lot of us old school fans wanted to get our hands on this figure but couldn't, because they never made toy shelves, and I was not comfortable ordering it online, and I was not going to pay aftermarket prices for it. So I think Takara and Hasbro are doing a wonderful job bringing out reissues, and they're doing that with Beachcomber, which was released in this wave, and Studio Series Ultra Magnus, which is a figure I did not see on toy shelves either. And they're reissuing that, so they're doing a lot of great fan service to us fans, and I am glad to have this figure. It's a fantastic figure, and he is available at Target right now, so if you have a chance, go to Target right now and pick this figure up while you can. Now that Devcon in his robot mode and on my display table, I once again want to go over some of his play features and accessories. First of all, I talk about his blaster. Now, according to the instructions, we're going to arm Devcon with his blaster while he's in his robot mode. You do that because the head on the blaster is actually a 5mm peg. Each one of his fists is a 5mm porthole. Take that blaster and plug in either one of his fists, and now you have Devcon armed while he's in his robot mode. But if you look back at the episode I made reference to earlier on, The Gambler, Devcon primarily armed his blaster as a cannon, and they did provide that fan service with this figure, because they provided you also with some 5mm portholes on his forearms right there and right there. So you plug that blaster right in his forearm and arm him just as he appeared on that very episode. Very, very cool. Another accessory I want to bring in are his thrusters. And according to the instructions, there's a way to arm Devcon with these thrusters while he's in his robot mode. And it's something called the Evo Fusion. It was a gimmick that was heavily influenced as part of the Transformers Legacy Evolution line. And what it is all the little accessories and weapons attached to one super weapon. And you do that by taking the blaster now, you'll unpeg it. And on the side of the blaster here, you have a 5mm porthole right there and right there. The thruster has a 5mm peg. You just plug that right into one of the portholes just like that, and just like that, and now you have that Evo Fusion weapon. You can arm that two different ways, the same way you did with the regular blaster. You can arm it either in his fist, just like that. Now you have Devcon armed with his Evo Fusion blaster while he's in his robot mode, or you can arm it as a cannon, where you just peg it right into his forearm, just like that. Very, very cool. That's a nice place feature. You know, Transformers are not just for us collectors, they're also for these kids, and kids love gimmicks like that. But personally, since it is a gimmick and it's not part of G1 continuity, I want to go ahead and unplug those thrusters from his forearm, and I want to arm him as he appeared in the Generation 1 Cartoon series, and this is probably how I'm going to have him displayed on my display shelf, because he is a fantastic figure. And like you mentioned earlier on, there were certain hang-ups on his distribution when he was originally released, and I am so glad that Target re-released him and reissued him, and now he's available to all of us, not just the people that want to play the aftermarket prices, but he is a great figure. I mean, I just watched the episode and compared this figure to the actual animated model from the Generation Cartoon series, and it is just spot on. I mean, he is a retooling of Blur, and I do have my Blur to do a side-by-side comparison, and I don't see any really similarities between the two figures. I mean, if this is a retooling of Blur, it's a complete retooling. The only correlation I see is maybe the backpack, the way the backpack flips up. and how the leg opens up in the back with that hinge joint right there and flips over. But that's the only thing I see. Other than that, I say it's an extremely heavy retooling because I see no similarities between the two figures. And as a kid, I did see maybe my imagination or my memory just didn't really serve me too well, because I did feel like Blur had some relation to this figure. Maybe, and you know, with Transformers, there's concept designs that actually make it on the cartoon scene, but did not make it in toy form. And I felt that Devcon was probably one of those examples. And the thing with Devcon was, he did not really transform in that episode. He was really heavily featured in that episode. He had a few minutes, you know, on that episode. And at the very end, he did transform and shoot off to the horizon, which was really, really cool. But he's a great figure. And even in his alt mode, they did a great job with. And I spoke about that a lot when I was talking about his vehicle mode. They just did a fantastic job with this figure. Real nice treat, and I just heavily recommend this figure. I love this guy so much. But if you guys found any information in this review valuable, please like and share this video. Also, if you really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. And while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future videos. I want to thank you guys for watching Red Seals on Toy Collector Review. I'll check you guys out next time.